I discovered something pretty alarming. Of the 8 novels I've read this month, only one was a self-published book. That's kind of embarrassing. I should be reading a lot more indie authors, but I'm not. It's not because self-published books are bad or that self-published authors don't write what I like to read. It's not even because I don't know where to find self-published books. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that discoverability in publishing is broken. There is a clear systemic issue with the way that we find new books to read, and it's a problem that hurts debut authors, self-published authors, and marginalized authors the most. The crazy thing is, there's a mathematically proven way to fix this problem. It's just that nobody has. Here's the current problem with discoverability in publishing. As a reader, I have a dilemma. There's too many books to choose from, and life's too short to spend time reading books that I don't love. Since I can't look at every single book that's out there, I narrow down my choices by applying some arbitrary filters. From there, I have a look at the covers, I pick the ones I vibe with, check out their blurbs, maybe even read a few sample chapters. That's when I can be bothered. When I can't, and I usually can't, I rely on other people and algorithms to do the filtering for me, which means the odds of me picking up a book that doesn't already have an established audience or that I don't know how to search for is slim to none. The way books get onto my TBR goes something like this. New releases by my favorite authors or sequels to books that I've loved go straight to the top. For books that keep popping up on my radar, I eventually get around to looking them up at my library and requesting them. While I'm at the library, I'll also wander around and pick up a few random ones. I feel like my process is pretty common, and that's bad. This method of discoverability heavily skews the way we make our reading decisions based on factors other than the actual writing in the book. Basically, everything that publishers and retailers can use as a shorthand signal to indicate that you might like this book. We've somehow created this vicious feedback loop where publishers are rewarded for how much money they invest into marketing, to buying eyeballs and building hype, because otherwise nobody will even know about the book, much less pick it up and read it. You can publish a good book, write a great blurb, pay for an amazing cover, and still not find any readers because you have no way of catching their eye. Unless you divert time and resources and money away from other things like writing the next book or paying for editing to pay for marketing and promos. That means the titles that manage to gain and retain awareness are either by authors who already have established audiences or networks, or new releases with significant marketing efforts and dollars behind them. Which, that sucks for authors, but it's fine for readers, right? Actually, no. Of the 8 books I read this month, I only loved 1. That's a success rate of 12.5%. Why are we doing this? This system makes no sense. It's inefficient. It results in less diversity, less new books, and lower quality books. Readers lose out. Authors lose out. Publishers lose out. I think the only people who might be winning are the book marketing services people. The frustrating thing is, the solution to this problem already exists, and mechanically, it's very simple. We arrange all of our potential reads in a random order. We set a time limit for how long we're going to spend looking for our next read. Let's say it's 10 minutes. For the first 3 minutes and 42 seconds, we're just going to sample books from our randomly ordered reading pile by reading the first 2 pages of each one, and we are not going to pick any of them. Why 2 pages? It's the book equivalent of the first 30 seconds of a YouTube video. 2 pages is about 500 words on average, which is flash fiction length. That's definitely long enough for you to get a sense of a book's story promises, tone promises, prose style, characters, conflict, and setting. Once those first 3 minutes and 42 seconds are up, we should now have a pretty good sense of what we like and what we don't like based on the sampling that we've done. We're going to keep on sampling books from the pile until we find one that we like better than every single book we've sampled so far. That is our next read. And there is a mathematical proof that shows if we run this method over every single possible combination of how those books can be ordered in the reading pile, this method will result in us picking the book we like best 37% of the time. 37%. 3 times more successful and far more equitable than our current system. And it would encourage people to read more widely by design, which is always a good thing. By incorporating randomness into the selection and ordering of the pile, every single book has an equal probability of reaching readers. And by changing the default way books are presented to the reader initially, from their cover to the first page, it pulls the focus back to judging books by how they're written, not by how they're packaged, presented, or or hyped. What I'd really like to have is something like Tinder, but for books, where you can go and set a bunch of high-level filters like genre, publication date, length, whether it's a series or a standalone, and maybe trigger warnings, and it'll randomly select a book that matches all of those criteria. Visibility is not dependent on the size of the book's marketing budget or the size of the publisher or author's platform. And the only thing you're presented with is the first 2 pages. No reviews or ratings, no cover, no blurb, no author name, not even the title. The only thing you get to judge the book on is the actual writing. If it's one you've already read, then you swipe down. If it's not for you, then you swipe left. And if you want to keep reading, you swipe right to get it from your preferred retailer or maybe request or reserve it at your library. And if there are like serious issues with the book, then you can report it by double tapping or something like that. I did not expect to come up with a potential tech startup idea while filming this video, but stranger things have happened with my discovery writing brain. I think I'd have a lot of fun building this. I also have books to write and publish, so if you like the sound of this, like and share this video, and if it gets to like a crazy amount of likes, then I will make this happen, even if I have to code it myself. Because I think we can all agree, the fairest way to judge whether a book is good or not is to actually read it. That's all I can really ask for as an author. A fair chance for readers to judge my book by my writing. Which does beg the question of what differentiates a good book from a bad one. That's what I'm going to explore in my next video. When that's ready, I'm going to put it up here, but in the meantime, you can check out Will White's thoughts on the topic.